It was late at night, and the dormitory was very quiet. By the faint light seeping through the door from the corridor, I got up on tiptoe, groped my way to the opposite bed and climbed onto it. The person on the bed was lying on their side facing the wall, and there was enough space beside them for another person to lie down. It seemed to be deliberately reserved for someone. I lifted the thin summer quilt, hugged the waist and abdomen of the person beside me like an octopus, and whispered in their ear, "So obedient, you even left me a place." The body in my embrace trembled. The waist arched slightly, but there was no sound. Even with him turning his back to me, I could guess that Lucas must be curled up shyly at the moment. His breathing was all messed up, but he was still pretending to be asleep. So cute. I sighed. It's a pity it's not daytime, so I can't admire that shy and charming face. It was sweltering in the summer night. Hugging Lucas, who was as cool as a piece of jade, was very comfortable. Sleepiness welled up. I buried my face in the fresh-smelling nape in front of me and soon fell into a deep sleep, with a beauty in my arms. I had a strange dream. In the dream, I entered a humid tropical rainforest. Fine sweat broke out all over my body. A slippery vine was tightly wrapped around me, and I could hardly breathe. When I woke up the next day, I first felt a head of soft, black hair. Lucas had somehow rolled into my arms. His long eyelashes were drooping, and he looked quiet and harmless. No wonder he has the god-like appearance that can charm both girls and boys at University. Lucas is a mixed race. His looks are beautifully androgynous, with high eyebrows and deep eye sockets. One glance and you can't help but get lost in those blue eyes as deep as the sea. Yet this great beauty is as innocent as a blank sheet of paper, always being muddle-headed and forgetful. When taking a shower, he either forgets to bring his clothes or mistakenly wraps my bath towel around himself. I looked down and sure enough, last night Lucas had managed to undo the buttons of his pajamas again, revealing a large expansive smooth chest. Guys have poor self-control in the morning. I licked my dry lips and helplessly buttoned up Lucas's pajamas, getting out of bed and slipping on my slippers. I caught a glimpse of Lucas still sound asleep with the corners of his mouth curled up, as if having a wonderful dream. Subconsciously, I also smiled, and then suddenly rushed into the bathroom after realizing it. Pouring cold water on my face, I squeezed hard at the stupidly smiling guy in the mirror. "You're really done for, Mateo. You're more bent than a mosquito coil." There was a time when I was still a straight guy. I even had a bit of homophobia. I don't know what special fetishes those people in the gay community have. The white socks I put in my locker always disappear without a trace. Every time I went to play basketball, I always encountered a few guys who deliberately crashed into me with ill intentions. Some people even got my contact information and blatantly asked, "Handsome guy, wanna hook up?" 20 years of professional Kegel exercises. My buddy Benjamin laughed uncontrollably. "Who asked you to look like the perfect type in the gay community? You've got broad shoulders and a narrow waist, and you play basketball so cool. Of course, you'll attract those twinks like a magnet. It's a pity. Falling for you, Mateo, is like falling for a steel plate." I angrily blocked that person on WeChat. I'm a pure straight man. I'll never like men in my life. In a fit of anger, I used my connections to switch from a 4-person dormitory to an empty double-room dormitory for international students. Who would have known that soon after? Lucas, the famous straight man killer at University, also moved in. I was quickly slapped in the face by my own confident words and couldn't stay straight anymore. Since Lucas entered the university, he has rejected a whole bunch of boys. I had no choice but to take advantage of my close proximity and become a scheming straight man. In winter, I pretended to be afraid of the cold and got into Lucas's bed. In summer, I said I was afraid of the heat and that the air conditioning in my bed area was not strong enough, and still stuck close to Lucas. Over time, Lucas kindly accepted all my actions. He blushed terribly every time and still tried to get used to my closeness. "Mateo, if you're really afraid of the cold, hold on tighter." Thinking of this, I couldn't help but scoop up some water and splash it on my face to cool down. With such a great guy by my side, there's no way I wouldn't turn gay. Was I really cold? What I really wanted was, while condemning my own sneaky behavior in my heart, I glanced down and noticed many red spots on my neck, and my lips were also inexplicably swollen. The mosquitoes have been getting more and more rampant lately. I should find time to buy some mosquito repellent to get rid of them. After washing up, Lucas got out of bed rubbing his sleepy eyes. He wasn't wearing his pajama pants, and his 2 fair thighs were exposed. The slightly long hem of his top just barely covered his private parts. His eyes were moist from yawning, looking like a woken-up Maine Coon cat, lazy and beautiful. "Mateo, are you going out?" I took a deep breath. and then felt a shortness of breath and a rush of blood to my head. I'm a leg fetishist, objectively speaking. Lucas's legs are different from girls' slender and fair ones, but they are straight and long, with smooth muscle lines, and equally good-looking enough to make people have a nosebleed. I'm numb, always testing people like this. Who can stand it? If I didn't know Lucas's personality well, I would have thought he was deliberately flirting. Suddenly, Benjamin's loud voice came from outside the door. Mateo, are you awake? It's Saturday today. Let's go to the internet cafe and have fun together. Saying that, he pushed the door open and rushed in. I quickly grabbed the coat hanging on the chair back and wrapped it around Lucas's waist, then turned around and stared at Benjamin. Can you change your bad habit of not knocking on the door? Benjamin spread his hands and apologized, then came over, put his arm around my shoulder and walked outside. It's my fault. It's my fault. I'll definitely knock next time. The t-shirt was gently tugged, maybe because he just woke up. Lucas's face looked inexplicably a bit cold. He asked casually, will you come back tonight? Benjamin put his arm around my neck and pressed hard. You haven't played games with us brothers for a long time. Let's have a battle until dawn today. Whoever leaves first is a grandson. I slapped Benjamin's hand away. Come on. Come on. Are you as energetic as an ox every day? Lucas, you go to sleep first tonight. You don't need to wait for me. After leaving the dormitory, Benjamin hesitated as if he had something to say. Are you constipated? Just say what you want to say directly. Mateo, did you notice the look in your roommate's eyes just now? How can I describe it? Benjamin slapped his forehead with a snap. It seems that we're not going to play games but to have an affair. It was so cold. It felt like he was going to freeze me to death. Impossible. You'd better check your own eyes more often. Don't slander others. Just now I had my back to Lucas, so I didn't see Lucas's expression. But it's obvious that it must be Benjamin who is blind and scaring people there. Lucas is just like his name, gentle as water, like a docile little lamb. He's not as scary as Benjamin described. I didn't take Benjamin's words to heart. I buried my head in my phone and called a car to the internet cafe. I've been single for 20 years. It's the first time I've fallen in love with someone, and it's a guy. I've been busy researching gay things recently and haven't played games much. I really miss it a bit. After choosing a computer, I put on my headphones and fought with my friends in the Summoner's Rift. Several hours passed in a flash. After successfully pushing down the enemy's crystal in this game, I took out my phone and found that Lucas had sent several messages. Mateo, I accidentally sprained my foot while taking a shower just now. Can you bring me a tube of ointment when you come back tomorrow? Don't worry about me. Just have a good time with your friends. It doesn't hurt much. I can bear it. There was a photo attached at the end. Lucas should have deliberately chosen an angle to take the photo to avoid worrying me. Only a small part of the injury was visible in the photo, but Lucas forgot that there was a full-length mirror right opposite where he was sitting. The originally fair and good-looking ankle in the mirror was all red and swollen. Concern makes one confused. I didn't have time to think about why Lucas took a bath during the day and why he had to wait for me to come back tomorrow to bring him medicine instead of asking other friends for help. After apologizing to Benjamin and the others, I rushed back to the dormitory and bought a few ice packs on the way. When I got back, Lucas was sitting in front of the desk with his injured foot hanging on the ground. Mateo, why did you come back so early? Lucas's eyes trembled, and he tried to hide his injured foot under the table. As a result, he pulled the injured part and gasped softly. Frowning slightly, I squatted down and angrily pressed the ice pack on Lucas's ankle. If I didn't look at my phone, were you going to endure the pain all night? The sound of gasping became louder, but he didn't shake my hand off and let me hold his foot obediently. Don't be angry, Mateo. It doesn't actually hurt that much. It just looks scary. Thank you for coming back. Lucas gently wiped the sweat off my forehead. It was around 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon in summer, when the sun was at its hottest. The anger in my heart suddenly dissipated like a punctured balloon, bursting into a field of blooming flowers in my heart. Go to the hospital when you're injured. Don't buy medicine randomly. Come on. I'll carry you to the school hospital. I turned around, bent down, and knelt on one knee. After a long time, a warm body leaned on my back. Lucas lay on my neck, and his breath was moist, with a slight airflow that brushed against my skin, making it feel itchy. Mateo, you're so nice. My heart was pounding like a drum, and I tried hard to calm my breathing. Lucas always says the most charming things in the most sincere tone. The speaker may not mean it, but the listener takes it to heart. I adjusted Lucas's thighs to carry him more steadily on my back. Before we left, Lucas picked up an umbrella from the corner and hung it on his hand. Then his soft voice drifted over. The school infirmary isn't far away, but the sun is very strong outside now. You're so afraid of the heat, so I'll hold the umbrella for you. I gave a muffled Lucas doesn't know that actually I'm not okay at all. He treats me as a close friend. But all I can think about is how to make him, this tempting rose, mine alone. Fortunately, Lucas's ankle sprain isn't serious. After getting some medicine to promote blood circulation and remove stasis, he'll be able to move freely in a few weeks. The only problem is that Lucas and I live on the 5th floor and there's no elevator. Lucas can only walk with a cane now, so it's very inconvenient for him to go up and down the stairs. Mateo, you don't need to worry too much. There's a house in my name nearby. I've just sent a message to the counselor to ask for leave. I won't come to school for a while. Lucas was sitting on the hospital chair and gave me a reassuring look. I was stunned for a moment. I almost forgot. I heard that Lucas comes from a wealthy family and is the young master of the one group. He has good looks and a very gentle personality. He doesn't seem like someone from the rich second-generation circle at all. Since Lucas will go back to his own house, he'll definitely find a special person to take care of him. Naturally, I don't need to worry about it. For some reason, I felt a little disappointed. By the way, it's my birthday at the end of the month. Can I invite you to my birthday party? You don't need to prepare any gifts. Just think of it as me treating you to a big meal to show my gratitude. Lucas's eyes curved into a gentle arc, as if afraid that I still had concerns. He explained, "Don't worry, this banquet will only have some close friends. You won't feel restricted." I readily agreed, feeling as sweet as if I had taken a bite of the cold and juicy watermelon pulp. Does Lucas mean that I'm also one of his close friends? I supported the crutch using Lucas out of the hospital. There was a bright and flamboyant red super car parked at the entrance. The person sitting in the driver's seat had an unruly look in his eyes, wore an earring, and was strikingly handsome and flamboyant. Lucas said that it was his childhood friend Oliver, who happened to be nearby and came to pick him up. Oliver's eyes scanned me up and down. Then he raised his eyebrows and gave a mischievous smile. After Lucas got in the car, it started up quickly. The open window slowly rolled up. Behind the glass, Oliver leaned close to Lucas and they were chatting in a very close distance. I secretly clenched my fists. This Oliver seems so strange at first sight. He might be another romantic rival. Something unexpected happened on the day of the birthday banquet. Although Lucas said he didn't need gifts, I couldn't go to the banquet empty-handed. The brooch I picked was left in the taxi I called. Fortunately, the driver was kind-hearted and called me to go back and get it. The banquet was held in Lucas's villa, which was elegantly decorated and was a private gathering. When I walked to a corner, I unexpectedly saw Oliver and Lucas chatting against a wall. Lucas's foot had recovered. He was wearing a well-tailored single-breasted suit, looking noble and calm, with a thin cigarette between his slender fingers. Oliver then sneered and took out a lighter from his pocket to light it for Lucas. In the flickering firelight, Lucas's eyes were like the dark blue sea under a storm, with a hidden whirlpool where the seawater converged. Dangerous yet charming. In front of me, Lucas neither smokes nor drinks. He is well behaved and shy, which is completely different from now. I stopped my steps that were about to go forward to say hello and hid in the shadow of the corner. Oliver's voice was a bit teasing. First you moved into someone else's dormitory, and then you went to great lengths to sprain your ankle and play tricks. It seems that new toy named Mateo really suits your taste. Well, only such a fool would believe that you, young master, are an innocent person. Lucas skillfully exhaled a puff of smoke. The thin white mist curled up, blurring that beautiful face. Don't speak ill of Mateo like this. I just like the way he tries to outsmart me and take advantage of me. How cute he is. Oliver covered his mouth with his hand, pretending to vomit. Take advantage of you? I think you're just having a good time. I stood there stupidly until Lucas casually snuffed out the cigarette butt and then turned his head. His gaze happened to fall on me. Oliver grinned gloatingly. You've gone too far. Lucas looked flustered for a moment. He took a few steps and ran up to me, grabbing my wrist. Mateo, don't misunderstand. I can explain. For the first time, I found that actually Lucas was very strong. I couldn't even break free from his grip. Moreover, he is a few centimeters taller than me, and his figure is even more slender and lean. However, I used to wishfully think that a person as stunningly beautiful as him was a delicate porcelain on the shelf, fragile and harmless. After Lucas sprained his ankle, I had no interest in playing games with Benjamin and the others. I was afraid that he would be bored at home, so I often went to see him during my spare time. But Oliver said that Lucas moved into my dormitory deliberately, and even the foot injury was on purpose. Then, among all the past events, which ones are really true? My thoughts are as messy as the cobweb I occasionally glimpse in the corner. The spider webs are densely intertwined, and I can't see where the end extends. I pointed at Oliver, who was watching the show. I'll only ask one thing. He said I'm your new toy. So you've been lying to me and playing with me all this time, right? The moment I saw Lucas fall silent, my chaotic heart seemed to sink to the bottom of the valley, soaking with a sour and swollen feeling. It's not like that, Mateo. Hesitation means lying. Sure enough, people like you who have been steeped in wealth and power are never simple. It's my fault for being blind and failing to recognize people clearly. I forcefully shook off Lucas and walked towards the door. Before I took a few steps, Lucas, who caught up from behind, grabbed my wrist again. This time he didn't give me the slightest chance to escape and forcefully dragged me into a nearby room. The door locked with a click. Lucas pressed me against the door panel. His eyes were obscure and hard to read, and his fingertips gently picked at the button on my shirt. I glared at him but couldn't push him away. What are you doing? Lucas's Adam's apple rolled, and his scorching breath landed on my face. Mateo, have you ever thought that what you think of as deception is different from what Oliver said? Before I could ask further in confusion, my lips were suddenly blocked. Lucas held my wrists with one hand and pinched my chin with the other, forcing me to look up. My lips were kissed. My whimpers were also mercilessly swallowed down my throat. The room looks like an abandoned storage room. The thick curtains are drawn, and not a single ray of light can penetrate. Entangled intimately in such a dim and quiet place, with ambiguous and ear-piercing sounds coming out from time to time. The suffocating sense of shame is about to devour me completely. Thinking about my superficial hugs and cuddles, they are simply not on the same level as this man's unscrupulous behavior in front of me. Because we were so close to each other, some indescribable changes grew vigorously, like a hot potato. It rubbed against my hand, threatening me not to move at all. I don't know how long I endured the torment before Lucas ended his restraint on me. I stared at Lucas, gritted my teeth. Lucas brushed aside the hair wet with sweat on my face with a smile. His movements were gentle, but his words were so annoying. Mateo, it was wrong of me to kiss you without permission, but I don't regret it. After all, you're staying here obediently listening to my explanation. So I've achieved my goal. Good. Kissing someone until their legs go weak and then making them stay. You're really a genius, but I won't say this out loud. How embarrassing. I stared at Lucas, wishing I could pierce him with my eyes. Lucas gave a funny little cough and said seriously, "Yes, I lied to you. Oliver is a mouthy person, but I've never regarded you as a toy to kill time. I wanted to be with you day and night, so I moved into your dormitory. I deliberately sprained my ankle because I hated seeing you out all night with others." As Lucas said, he reached out and wiped the corner of my lips, reluctant to leave. Mateo, you must not know how attractive you look in what you're wearing today. In order to attend Lucas's birthday party, I specially bought a new shirt. It's a very nice style, but the size is a bit small. It's a bit tight on me, faintly outlining the contours of my pectoral muscles. During the struggle just now, the collar has been loosened. From the moment you walked into my house today, all I could think about was how to strip you naked, so that you'll never dare to walk around dressed like this in front of people again. Lucas's eyes were burning with a shocking amount of lust. Only then did I come to my senses from the long, lasting kiss and realize that the real Lucas was completely different from the one I had known. I've never even been in a relationship. How could I have experienced such a thing? Embarrassed and annoyed, I stammered for a long time before asking, "Then why did you pretend to have that kind of personality to deceive me?" Lucas gently smoothed out the wrinkles on my shirt in a gentlemanly manner. One could hardly tell that he was the same person who had just been unrestrained and had his way with me. If I didn't pretend, would you have noticed me? You've said yourself that you hate homosexuals the most. You don't like men getting close to you. So I had to find an indirect way to win your heart. There was still something wrong. Why me? I didn't know you before you moved into the dormitory. Lucas punished me by pressing his thumb on my lip bead. The look in his eyes was a bit resentful. Mateo, your memory is really bad. Click. Someone was inserting a key into the keyhole to open the door. I glanced at a certain prominent part of Lucas's body and turned my face away. Lucas slowly let go of me, took off his suit jacket and draped it over his arm. The hanging fabric just covered it. I moved to one side. Just then, the door opened. The butler, who had been greeting guests in the front hall just now, looked shocked. "Young master, why are you and Theodore inside?" "I just passed by and heard some noise inside. I thought there was a thief." Lucas let out a low laugh from his throat. "Well, there's something to take care of. Fortunately, it's not a thief. Then you young masters can continue with your business." The butler felt relieved and walked away cheerfully. I was so ashamed that I wished I could dig a hole and bury myself on the spot. Take care of business? How could he say such a thing? Isn't having an affair also a kind of stealing? Right, Mateo? Such vulgar words are really unpleasant to hear. I hurriedly walked out of the storage room with a muddled mind. Lucas was still lingering and wanted to follow me. I quickly stopped him. Stop, that's it for today. I need to calm down. Don't follow me. Lucas raised his eyebrows and didn't force it anymore. I ran out of the villa gate at a brisk pace. There was a gaze behind me that seemed to materialize and was firmly glued to me. I quickened my pace. What a touching sight. The taxi driver was actually still waiting for me by the roadside. With tears in my eyes, I opened the car door and plopped myself down on the seat. Sir, I don't want the things anymore. Consider the time I've delayed you as compensation. Please take me back to university, eh? After getting off the car, I walked dejectedly back to the dormitory. James, the school bully who played basketball with me next door, whistled at me in the corridor. Hey, handsome you. Did you go on a date with a girl in the Grove and get stung by a bee? You're so swollen. Theodore, James' little follower beside him, gave me a thoughtful look and quickly lowered his head without saying a word. Theodore, I'm talking about him, not you. Why are you blushing? You're so thin-skinned. I closed the door, shutting out James' teasing. You're the one going to the Grove with a girl. I wish you'll meet a 188-centimeter tall tough girl one day. I complained angrily in front of the mirror. Lucas is really like a dog. My lip color was originally rather pale, but now it's been kissed into a bright, deep color, puffy and rosy. My such a cute and innocent wife is gone. Just like that, my gentle Mateo has turned into a big bad wolf. The sky is vast. The fields are boundless. There's nowhere to express my grief. I dialed Benjamin's phone. Crazy guy, I'm lovelorn. Hurry up and bring 10 bottles of beer to my dorm. Let's get drunk tonight. Benjamin didn't come himself, but he asked a friend to bring the beer for me. The reason is that this guy recently got a girlfriend and wants to go on a date with her. He values his romantic partner over his friends. What a fair-weather friend. I felt even sadder. I grabbed the beer cans and guzzled them down until I was completely drunk. Is this girlfriend of his even real? I spitefully cursed that Benjamin's girlfriend would turn out to be a cross-dresser with a bigger than him. I lay on the bed and fell into a deep sleep. In a half-awake, half-asleep state, a strange memory popped into my head. In my freshman year, I was harassed by a gay guy named Sebastian who was pursuing me for quite a while. Feeling annoyed, I went to a bar to drink. Whiskey is strong. I got drunk after just a few sips. When I was paying the bill drunkenly, I happened to see a sneaky-looking man secretly adding something to a glass of cocktail. After shaking it well, he carried the glass and walked towards a boy. The boy was extremely good-looking. The perfect combination of bone structure and skin on his face was like a masterpiece of nuwa. What was most beautiful were his eyes, as blue as Hawaiian wine, clear and pure without a trace of impurity. He looked so innocent and easy to bully. The boy didn't notice anything wrong with the drink or the lecherous look in that man's eyes at all. He meekly took the glass. I rushed over like an angry lion, gave the man a shoulder throw, and then stomped on his face with my sneakers, leaving shoe prints. I snatched the glass from the boy's hand and poured the whole thing on the man's face on the ground. Can you filthy and disgusting gay guys just get out of here? I hate people like you the most in my life. That Sebastian who harassed me was my former roommate, and his methods were really despicable. He stole my socks and underwear. He even stripped naked and climbed into my bed when I and other roommates were out. I was so disgusted that I vomited up my dinner. I didn't go back to the dormitory for several days and stayed in a hotel instead. He's the real reason why I decided to change my dormitory. I punched the person with all my might until the bar security pulled me away. I staggered and almost fell to the ground. A pair of arms held me in time. In my confusion, I seemed to see 2 blue gems in the luxurious bar. They were like a sparkling spring. Hello, my name is Lucas. What's your name? I hooked my finger and pulled the owner of those 2 blue gem-like eyes in front of me. I boldly patted his shoulder and said, people like us usually only have one name. No need to thank me for such a great kindness. Please call me Leifong. Goodbye. I was sweating all over, but my face felt cool, as if someone was wiping my face with a soft and wet towel. I rubbed against that person's palm comfortably. That person's movement paused, and their fingers slid onto my lips. In my sleep, I unconsciously opened my mouth and bit that slender finger. It turned out not to be something delicious. I frowned and spat it out again. The breathing sound in the room suddenly became a bit heavier. The harsh sunlight shone in through the window. I opened my eyes, and the sound of water in the bathroom was trickling. The soda cans that I had thrown around messily last night had been neatly put into the trash can. The floor and the table were very clean. Lucas walked out of the bathroom, wiping his hair. Water droplets rolled down his well-shaped collarbone and into his big T-shirt. His legs under the shorts were dazzlingly white. Couldn't help but swallow my saliva. When I caught a glimpse of Lucas's mischievous look, I quickly turned my head away. But Lucas didn't intend to let me off. He strode onto my bed with his long legs. He propped his arms on both sides of my head and looked down at me haughtily. Is it good looking? Do you want to take a closer look? I didn't. Don't talk nonsense, I retorted loudly, but without much confidence. Lucas let out a long oh. Dare to look but not admit it? Then let me say it instead. I like your skin tone. It has the smell of sunshine. I like your lips. They look so kissable. I like your pectoral muscles. They are full, beautiful, and elastic. As Lucas spoke, his fingertips brushed across my body inch by inch, like a dragonfly skimming the water, touching and then separating immediately. It brought up an itch deep in the bone marrow. Lucas held my face from above, pressing his forehead against mine. The whirlpools in his eyes seemed to suck me in. The most important thing. Mateo, what I like is you as a whole. When I see you, I'll be genuinely happy. So I'll give you the last 30 seconds to push me away. Otherwise, Lucas lowered his eyes. The meaning was self-evident. It is said that when looking into the eyes of a beloved person, one can't last more than 30 seconds without the urge to kiss. One won't immediately recall a dream upon waking up. Instead, a certain moment after waking up will stimulate the hippocampus and thus awaken that part of the memory. I finally understood what Lucas meant when he said I had a poor memory. Turns out that I had met him once before. However, I got drunk and blacked out at that time, and I forgot all about it when I woke up the next day. For a moment, I forgot to push him away and stared blankly at Lucas, who was so close to me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 30. Lucas' eyes darkened, and he kissed me deeply. There was still the aroma of lemon mint on him. It was the smell of my shower gel. The breath between our lips and teeth was greedily absorbed. When Lucas finally let go of me, I gasped for breath and accused him with red eyes. You're shameless. You didn't even count to 30. Lucas looked as if it were only natural. Is it so hard to understand that I can't hold on for 30 seconds in front of you? Moreover, Lucas gave me a naughty look. Aren't you also enjoying it, Mateo? Lucas' voice was magnetic and hoarse. He whispered vaguely against my ear. It's quite poking. I just stayed in the dormitory all day without going out. That heartless Benjamin even asked me which relationship I had broken up with. I kept silent in response. How can I tell him that I, a top in the gay circle who has countless omegas throwing themselves at me, and who always considered myself a straight man, have fallen for my fake innocent roommate? He's not an innocent lily like Mateo. He's more like a poppy. I've been bickering with Lucas like this for a few months. Rumors are spreading around University A that I've won over the gorgeous Lucas. Both boys and girls are heartbroken and in tears. I didn't expect to see Sebastian again. That kind of thing is so disgusting that I'd even feel ashamed to report it. I beat up Sebastian in the alley at that time and warned him never to appear in front of me again. I thought the matter was settled. If you still stick around shamelessly, that's just being a masochist. Who would have thought that Sebastian was really so persistent? He blocked our way when Lucas and I were going back to the dorm at night. To be fair, Sebastian is good, looking in a delicate way, but he is always cowering and gives off a slimy feeling like moss in the dark when looking at people, which makes one feel uncomfortable all over. Sebastian suddenly pounced on me from behind the flower bed in the dark. Lucas was quick-witted and quickly pulled me away. Sebastian missed and fell to the ground, screaming and crying. Mateo, they all say you're with this bitch. I don't believe it. You don't like men, do you? What's so good about him? You once said I was good looking, so I specially cut my bangs. But why have you never even glanced at me? I remembered that when I first met Sebastian, he always kept his head down, had a poor social life and was often ignored, but he always cleaned the bathroom he used spotlessly. Unlike the other guys in the dorm who left their shampoo everywhere and never cleaned the smelly toilet, I kindly advised Sebastian, actually, you're quite considerate and good looking. Why do you always hunch your back? Hold your head up and be more confident. There will surely be many people who like you. But I didn't know that Sebastian would become so extreme later. Perhaps he had some painful experiences that led to this kind of personality. But what does it matter to me? Seeing this, Lucas' expression turned cold. He looked at the disheveled Sebastian as if he were looking at trash, and then his eyes shifted. I had a bad feeling. Sure enough, the next second, the White Lotus actor started his act. Lucas strolled slowly up to Sebastian, covering his mouth and smiling. In terms of height, you're no match for me. In terms of good looks, you can't beat me. All in all, I'm better than you in every aspect. Mateo, am I right? After taunting, Lucas snuggled into my arms. Am I right? Husband, say something. I said that's enough. Really enough. I took Lucas by the hand and quickly left this embarrassing scene. Before leaving, I said to Sebastian, what I meant at that time was mainly about being confident, not about appearance. If you want others to like you, why don't you take a look at your crazy state now? What's there to like? I've said all I need to say. Don't pester me anymore, or I'll really call the police. I remember that my first crush on Lucas was after we became roommates. We joined the school's baseball club together and were forced to participate in the truth or dare game on the club activity day. Lucas was rather unlucky. He was selected right at the start to kiss someone present. Unexpectedly, except for me and two other guys with girlfriends. The rest were all girls. Kissing Lucas was a dream come true for many of the school's admirers. There were also girls present who had a secret crush on him, but he still chose me in the end. Amidst the cheers, Lucas leaned in cautiously and apologized first. Mateo, I'm really sorry to drag you into this. I know you dislike homosexuality, but I can't just randomly choose a girl to kiss. It wouldn't be fair to the girls who don't like me. If you don't mind, may I kiss you? My heartstrings were suddenly plucked. I nodded, and Lucas leaned down. It was as light as a falling petal, soft and delicate. His eyes were tightly shut, and his eyelashes were trembling slightly. I thought at that time that if the winter snow were to fall on those long eyelashes, it would surely be like shaking a snow-covered branch, with the snowflakes falling in a flurry, as if there was a snow rain. My world was constantly washed in this cold and silent snow rain, becoming fresh and clean. As memories flooded back, Lucas was no longer the way I first saw him. Now he is bold and straightforward, making it hard to resist. What are you thinking about, Mateo? I'm thinking about the Lucas I first met. Lucas was stunned for a moment. He reached out his hand, stroking from the top of my head to my shoulder blade, and then hugged me tightly, as if he wanted to drown me in his embrace. His voice was rarely lacking in confidence. Mateo, I'm very glad that I wasn't disliked by you like that other person. I even managed to make you like the persona I put on. But I'm the kind of person who, once I get a little, will crave more. So, the punishment I mentioned just now is for you to satisfy my greed. Punish yourself for liking my false self and also accept my true self. I'm such a greedy person. Will you accept this punishment, Mateo? Lucas has always been calm and composed. Even when I interrupted his conversation with Oliver at the birthday party, he was able to calm down instantly and confront me. But this time, he didn't dare to look into my eyes, as if he was afraid of me delivering a merciless verdict on him. But I know that this is Lucas's unique confession. He is seeking my affection. Just as I nodded during the truth or dare kiss back then, I'll do the same this time. Liking one side of a person doesn't mean you can't fall in love with the rest of them. People have many faces and are lively and changeable. In Lucas, change is a unique charm, just as water has no fixed shape but can take on myriad forms in various containers. Yet its essence is always sweet. I was wrong. I only knew that Lucas's sweet words were touching, but I forgot one thing. When a man is scheming to seduce someone into bed and have their way with them, they'll say anything. I lost myself in the repeated calls of husband and brother. The man's fair arm tightly wrapped around me, and his hot breath hit my chest. Husband, why are you so nervous? I once fantasized about successfully confessing my love to Lucas. In my dream, that person timidly called me. I never expected that the situation would be completely opposite to what was in my dream. I swear that no matter how nice Lucas calls me, I never want to hear this address again. Extra, Lucas. Lucas did have many toys in the past. They weren't children's dolls, building blocks, or models. How can inanimate objects be as interesting as the complex and changeable human nature? Lucas is best at manipulating people's hearts. As a young master born with a silver spoon in his mouth from the upper class, Lucas is naturally the object of being surrounded by numerous people and pursued by thousands. However, do the stars that follow the moon do so for the moon itself or for the reflected light? After all, the moon itself is full of craters, barren and without light. Tired of the insincere flattery and the covetous looks in the dark, Lucas understood a truth. Appearance, money, and power are what most people flock to. Judging people by their appearance is a common problem among many shallow-minded people. Seeing that he had a pure and harmless face, they thought he was like that by nature and could be easily deceived. They flattered around him, not knowing that the blatant greed in their eyes had already exposed their arrogant ambitions. Like a bunch of stinky flies. Some people are even more despicable. Coveting his good looks, Lucas was drugged for the first time when he was 12 years old. His parents took him to the filming set of their film company for an inspection. As a result, Lucas was mistaken for an unknown and manipulable young actor. A short middle-aged man took the unconscious Lucas back to the room. As soon as his fat body got close, Lucas stabbed him in the most vulnerable place with a fruit knife. The police soon arrived and handcuffed the man away. He was a well-known director in the circle and was later found to have persecuted countless underage boys and girls. His childhood friend Oliver asked Lucas, "Since you had already seen that there was something wrong with that man, why didn't you call the police directly and instead pretended to be knocked out by him?" The young Lucas, who looked like an angel, smiled wickedly. "That would be so boring. To deal with this kind of person, you naturally have to give him the most fatal blow when he is most complacent. Moreover, is there any point in keeping that thing on him? This kind of crime won't result in death. Even if he gets out, he'll be a castrated dog." So later, Lucas took the spiked cocktail from the bar. On the surface, he remained calm, but in his heart, he had already thought of 10,000 ways to make someone feel worse than death. Before those violent factors in his heart could fully ferment, Matteo appeared. In the bar, the scents of perfume and sweat were mixed together. The people there were also of all kinds, and the lights were dim. The handsome young man was like a sea breeze that blew in by chance during the continuous and humid plum rain season in the south of the Yangtze River, dispersing the clouds piled up in the gray sky. The sunlight hidden behind the haze was able to return to the south of the Yangtze River, making an unexpected appointment with those who longed for the light. Lucas liked to manipulate and play with people's hearts with different disguises. Only when facing Matteo was he willing to try every means to obtain that sincere heart.